Ritu ma'am here. Students, today we will take our next topic from chapter hydrocarbon, and it is alkenes. So as we know, alkenes, that means the compounds, the carbon hydrogen compounds which consist carbon carbon's double bond, right? Carbon carbon double bond compounds are known as the alkenes, right? And the general formula of alkenes are CnH2n. CnH2n is the general formula. These are also known as olefins. These are also known as the olefins. Olefins means oil forming compounds. Oil forming compounds. These are known as olefins because the first member is ethene, right? Because it requires minimum two carbon atoms, so the first member is ethene. So the first member ethene is found that it can form an oily liquid when it reacts with chlorine. So because of the formation of that oily substance through ethene, these are known as the olefins. Now come to the structure of alkenes. Structure of alkenes. As we know, it consists double bond. That means there is one sigma bond and one pi bond. One sigma and one pi bond. It consists one strong sigma bond and one weak pi bond. The sigma bond is formed because of the overlapping of sp2 hybridized orbital, right? Head-on overlapping of sp2 hybridized orbital, while the weak pi bond, right, it is formed because of the lateral overlapping of two unhybridized p orbital. Yes, so let's see. We have carbon. Carbon is 6. It is 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1 and 2pz1. This is the 2pz0. This is the electronic configuration in ground state of carbon, right? So if I am writing its excited state, then what will happen? One electron jump from this position to the p orbital. That is, we can write this one. 1s and 2p, they combine together and undergo hybridization and form sp2 hybridized orbitals. 3 sp2 hybridized orbital, and this p orbital is unhybridized, which participate in the formation of pi bond. These sp2 hybridized orbital participate in the sigma bond formation, right? Let's see. Because of the sp2 hybridization, the shape of sp2 hybridized carbon orbital is trigonal planar, right? This is for one carbon. For other carbon, I am taking the case of ethene. This is ethene molecule. I am taking the case of ethene. One carbon here with sp2 hybridized orbital, right? And here one carbon with sp2 hybridized orbital. So this is sp2 hybridized orbital. This is also sp2 hybridized orbital. When they do the head-on overlapping, there will be formation of this sigma bond, right? That means there is one sigma bond between carbon. Now, because the formula of ethene is C2H4, that means there will be 4 hydrogen atoms. So 4 hydrogen atoms, that means here I am writing hydrogen atom means H1, that means 1s1, right? So S means the orbital should be spherical. So 4 hydrogen atom again form 4 sigma bonds with these sp2 orbitals, right? And it is again sigma bond because they are from head-on overlapping. Now let's see the formation of pi bond. Pi bond. This unhybridized p orbital is perpendicular to the plane. This is perpendicular to the plane. Now this undergo the formation of pi bond. Here it undergoes the overlapping, lateral overlapping. This type of overlapping, lateral overlapping, and by the lateral overlapping there will be formation of pi bond, right? So this is pi bond. So in such a way there will be formation of one sigma bond between carbon and carbon and one pi bond between carbon and carbon. And if we take the case of ethene, then 4 more sigma bond are also formed here, right? So this is all over about the structure of ethene. In such a way there will be formation of other alkenes also. One more thing, because of the formation of this weak pi bond, the electrons are mobile here, right? The electrons are mobile here, and these are easily attacked by reagents which are known as the electrophilic reagents. These are easily attacked because the electrons are mobile now, so they can be treated, they can be break when any reagent attack on it, so they easily attack by the electrophilic reagents. Now come to its nomenclature, right? We take the nomenclature. So if we take the naming of the alkene, so what is the suffix here? Here suffix is -ene. That means we take the word root, the longest carbon chain, we choose the longest carbon chain, and then we use the suffix -ene here. We use -ene as a suffix, right? So I'm taking example. I'm taking the case of CH3 CH double bond CH2, right? So it is obvious that the numbering should be from the side where double bond is near, right? So this is 1, 2 and 3. So the word root is prop plus suffix is -ene, and because double bond start from the first position, so there is no need to write the position. If it start from 2 or 3, then it is necessary to write the position, but if it is start from first position, you can skip it. Then it is the propene, right? So if I am taking case of next compound, so it is butene, right? Let's see, 1 2 3 4. So word root is but, right? And the double bond start from the second position, so position is 2. It start from the 2, so from where it start, you have to write that number, that position 2. Then the suffix is -ene. So what will be the name? The name is but2ene, or you can write 2-butene also, but2ene or 2-butene, whatever you want to write, you can write in this case, right? I am taking one more case. If I have CH2 double bond C CH3 CH3, then again it is obvious that we will take this chain as a parent chain which consists the double bond, right? Because this consists double bond, so priority will be given to this chain, not this one, right? So 1 2 3 again, so name will be 2. At 2 position there is side chain, alkyl group is present, 2 methyl, and here 1 2 3, that means prop and ene, propene, 2 methyl propene. So this is the naming of the alkenes. In the same way we can do 4 more compounds also. Now we take the isomerism of alkenes. So first we take the structural isomerism, right? Structural isomerism. So actually in journal structural isomerism we discuss here. After that we take the other isomerism in detail, right? So structural isomerism. Now I am taking the case of C4H8. I'm taking a formula C4H8. As we know, that means isomers means the compounds having same molecular formula, but they are different in the, they will be different in the structure, right? They will be different in the structure or their spatial arrangement. So it can be written as CH3, CH double bond CH, CS3, right? It can written as CH2 double bond CH single bond CH2 CS3, right? It can also written as CH2C CS3 CS3. Yes, 3 3 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 2 4 5 6 7 8 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yes, right. So this is, if I am writing the name to butane, it is 1 butane and this is 2 methyl propene. So as you can see that all these three compounds are different and they have the same molecular formula. They all have the same molecular formula C4H8, and they can convert into three different structures, right? So this one I'm labeling here. This is one structure, 2 structure and 3 structure. The 1 and 3, this one and this one, right? These are chain isomers. These are chain isomers. Why these are chain isomers? Because it consists of straight chain while it consists of branch chain, right? It is a straight chain compound and it is a branch chain compound. So these are considered as chain isomer of each other, right? And in such a way, in a similar way, second and third, this is also chain isomer. These are also chain isomers. Why? Again the same reason, because it is in straight chain form and this is present in the branch chain form. Okay, now if we check the first and second, then the first and second, there is difference in the position of the double bond. Here the double bond present at the first position, whereas in this compound the double bond present at the second position. So these are the position isomers of each other. So for C4H8 we have three type of structure, in which two are the chain isomers while two are the position isomers, right? Now come to the next type of isomerism, which is very important. Isomerism, this was the first type of isomerism, which is known as the structural, and now I am taking the second case, which is very important, and it is the geometrical isomerism. See, it is the geometrical isomerism. Now what is geometrical isomerism? Simply if we take the case of double bonded carbon atoms, right? So if we have any carbon which consists double bond, carbon-carbon double bond, then there are two vacancies. Okay, there are two vacant position where we have to add some atom or groups. So if we have two different groups, right? So they can be arranged in such a way that if we take X and Y as an atom attached to the carbon, both the carbons, then we can arrange them in such a way that similar group may be on similar side, or we can write in this way also that similar group may be on different sides. So there will be two type of possibility. Okay, are you getting it? We can write any compound, any alkene in two ways, right? We can write in such a way that the similar group may be on similar side or similar group may be on different side, right? So when there is the arrangement of the atom in such a way, when the same atom or similar group are on similar side, these are known as the cis isomer. But when these are in opposite side, then these are known as the trans isomers. These are known as the trans isomers. And because these compounds are different in their arrangement in space, so these are known as the stereoisomers. Stereoisomers. You have to remember one thing, in geometrical isomerism there is one thing, because this happens in the alkenes, the compounds which consist carbon carbon double bond. So they are not like alkane where the free rotation exists. There is restricted rotation because of the presence of double bonds. So the rotation is very restricted. So you have to understand that the rotation around carbon carbon double bond is not free, it is restricted, right? So now we take one more thing, that if we have a cis isomer and we have a trans isomer, they have same structure but they have different configuration. Configuration means they have different arrangement of atoms or groups in space. So because of the different arrangement of atoms or group in space, these isomers differ in their properties. They are differ in their properties, right? Properties like they are differ in you can say dipole moment. They have different dipole moment. They have different melting point. They have different boiling point. They have different solubility, right? So now if we take the case of, I am giving you one example. I will try to explain you with an example. If I am taking the example of 2-butene, right? So 2-butene can be written as in cis and trans form. This is cis butene, right? This is cis butene, right? And we can write in this form also. This is trans. So why it is cis and this is trans? Because in this the same group on same side, right? Whereas I'm sorry, this one, yes, right. So in this compound the same group on same side, whereas in this compound the same group on opposite side, right? So when you see in this compound, let's see the polarity. Okay, so the cis compounds, the cis form of alkenes generally found to be more polar. Why it is more polar? Let's see here. There will be addition of the dipole moment, right? So if we check the dipole moment, then the dipole, the direction of dipole moment is towards, right? They will be added, they will be on same side, whereas in trans there will be cancellation of the dipole moment. So in this case the mu is always greater than 0, whereas in trans case the mu is equals to 0. That means the value of dipole moment in case of trans isomer is 0 if we take the case of butene, but in case of cis butene the value is greater than 0. If we can say that because of the dipole moment is a vector quantity and they generally add it to the same side of direction, right? So in this compound, because the same group on the same side, so they will be added together because of the vector quantity. So dipole moment added together, and that's why the mu is not equals to 0, right? So we take one more thing regarding this. If I'm taking the case of I can show you again one more thing. Butene, yes, in such a way, right? Mu is not equals to 0. Its exact value is 0.33 divided. This is cis form, cis butene. But if I am taking the case of trans, then these are in opposite direction, so mu equals to 0. This is the trans form, trans butene. Now we can say that in cases of solid, if we take a solid compound, then the trans isomer has higher melting point than the cis form. This you have to remember, that in solids, if we take the case of solids, right, if we take the higher alkenes, then in case of solids, the trans form has higher melting point. Now what is its reason? The reason is that there is more symmetry in the transform, and they are better in they are closely, they have the close packing in a better way, right? In transform, the atoms or molecules are closely packed, more closely packed as compared to cis form, and these are more symmetrical, right? If we cut it in this point, right, they will divide it into two equal part. If we cut in this form, in this form, in this form, the atoms are symmetrically arranged, right? So because of this reason, they have higher melting points. So this is all about the geometrical isomers of alkenes. Now come to the preparation. Let's start the preparation. We have many reaction for the preparation of alkene. So the first one is the simple is by the hydrogenation, yani by the addition of hydrogen molecule to the alkyne. So from alkyne, it is very simple reaction actually. From alkyne by addition of hydrogen, right? So hydrogen, if we take, I am taking journal example, RR, you can take methyl or ethyl group also, or hydrogen also in place of R. I am representing it by R dash so that you can differentiate both the carbons. So if we add hydrogen, the reaction takes place in the presence of palladium charcoal. This is palladium, and C, that means it is the form of charcoal, right? And it is known as the Lindlar catalyst. It is Lindlar's catalyst. So when the hydrogenation takes place in the presence of Lindlar's catalyst, there will be formation of cis alkene, right? Cis alkene will form. So what will be the product? It depends on the catalyst, which catalyst is used during the reaction. So cis form is formed, right? But if I am taking sodium in presence of liquid NH3, and I do the same process, that means I do the addition of the hydrogen across the same type of alkyne, then I will get the trans product in such a way, same group on opposite side. So cis and transform both can be obtained by using different catalysts by the addition of hydrogen. Now come to the second reaction, second preparation. Second preparation is from alkyl halide. From alkyl halide. So alkyl halide, you can take alkyl halide, and what will we do? We do the dehydrogenation. We do the dehydrogenation. Yes. So when we do the dehydrogenation, it is D, that means removal. Hydrogenation means hydrogen. So removal of hydrogen molecules. Dehydrohalogenation, actually dehydrohalogenation, hydrogen and halogen, right? So I am taking a reaction, and this is the example of beta elimination reaction. I will explain it. So if I am taking this compound, I have an alkyl halide. This is an alkyl halide, right? This is the alpha position, this is beta position. Alpha position means the carbon atom by which the functional group is attached directly. So this is the alpha carbon. The near carbon is considered as the beta carbon. So when we do heating in presence of alcoholic AOH, then beta elimination, that means from beta position there will be removal of hydrogen, and dehydrohalogenation means hydrogen will release from beta position and halogen will release from the alpha position, and the process is dehydrohalogenation. So this bond shift to here, H release in the form of H2O, X release in the form of KX, and this bond shift here and creates the unsaturation double bond, right? So there is formation of ethene in such a way. You can take Br, Cl or I in place of X. And as I told you in my previous video also, that we generally do not use the fluorides because of its highly violent nature, right? So we generally do not use the fluorides. Now next preparation, we have the next preparation, and next preparation is from third is the from vicinal dihalides. Now what are vicinal dihalides? Vicinal dihalides are the halides in which the halogen atom is attached to both the adjacent carbon atom. That means if I have this one, we have two carbon atoms attached adjacently, they are closely attached, then I have one Br here and one Br here. Rest valency I will complete it by hydrogen. So this is CH2Br, CH2Br, and this is the vicinal dihalide. Dihalide, two halides will be there and they are attached to the adjacent carbon atoms, right? Now if I do the reaction with zinc, then there will be this Br and this Br release from here, and there will be formation of ZnBr2. The valency for the to satisfy the valency between carbon and carbon, there will be formation of double bond. That means C double bond C between the carbon atoms. So this is ethene is formed in this way, right? Now next is the I have next preparation, and it is from alcohols, and this is very simple reaction. In 10th class also you have studied this reaction, and this is by dehydration, a very common reaction. So if we have, I'm taking ethyl alcohol, the simplest alcohol, right? So this is again alpha carbon because OH group, the functional group, or any functional group which is directly attached to the carbon, that carbon is known as the alpha and the nearby is known as the beta, as previously also I told you. Then if we heat this compound in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, then there will be release of water molecule OH along with its electron H in the form of H plus. There is removal of water molecule. That's why this is the dehydration process. Dehydration means where there is the removal of water molecule, and this bond shift here, and it occurs in between the carbon in the form of double bond. So it is ethene molecule, right? So this is the total preparation of the alkenes. Now come to the properties. We take the properties. First I'm taking the physical properties. Physical properties. So in physical properties, first thing, alkenes are, if we talk about the physical state, so alkenes starting 3 members, right? 3 members are gases, right? Next 14 members are liquids. Again, the reason is because of the presence of weak van der Waals forces, and higher ones are solids, right? Now come to the second property, second physical property. These are generally, we can say that except ethene, all alkenes are colorless and odorless, right? They generally do not have smell, but ethene have smell. Ethene have faint sweet smell, right? It has faint sweet smell. Now third is the if we talk about its solubility, these are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. Okay, and so organic solvent, just like ethers, just like benzene, they are highly soluble in organic solvents. Now again, the last property is the boiling point. So as the molar mass increases, boiling point also increases. Why? We all know, because there is increase in the extent of van der Waals forces. So to break the van der Waals forces, there is requirement more amount of energy. That's why as the molar mass increases, boiling point also increases. So this is all about the physical properties of the alkenes. Now the next thing is let's check the chemical properties. The next is the chemical properties, right? So chemical properties of alkenes. So because of the presence of weak pi bond, it consists weak pi electrons which are loosely held, they easily undergo the addition reaction. So first is the addition of hydrogen. So addition of hydrogen, the simple reaction, if we take the case of CH2 double bond CH2 and we do the hydrogenation, that means addition of hydrogen in presence of nickel or palladium or platinum, any one of the catalyst, then there will be simple addition reaction and they undergo conversion to the alkane molecules, right? There will be formation of ethane from ethene in such a way. Then second is the addition of halogen. Okay, addition of halogen. So in the same way, just like hydrogen, halogen is also added. So if we take bromine, here I am taking case of bromine. Bromine solution in presence of carbon tetrachloride, the reddish color of bromine disappears, which shows the presence of unsaturation in alkene. So there will be formation of 1,2-dibromo ethane. If we take ethene, we treated bromine solution with ethene, right? Now third is the addition of hydrogen halide, and this is most important in the addition reaction. It is highly important. Now in this type of addition reaction, the order of reactivity is Hi, then HBr, and then HCl. This is the order of reactivity. So the addition reaction, if we take the symmetrical alkenes, then the addition reaction is very simple. So if we take the symmetrical alkene, I'm taking the symmetrical alkene. I'm taking the case of CH2 double bond CH2, the simple one. I'm taking the case of HBr here. Then simply you can add hydrogen to any one of the carbon and Br to any one of the carbon. Then there will be formation of such compound, right? So there will be no problem. So we can add hydrogen to any one of the carbon and Br to any one of the carbon. There will be no problem, right? I'm taking one more example. If I am taking the case of 2-butene, then again the same type of reaction will occur. CH3, CH2, CHBr here and CH3, right? But if we take the case of unsymmetrical alkene, what will happen? This is important, right? If we take the case of unsymmetrical alkene, you have to understand this. So if we take the case of unsymmetrical alkene, then there will be two possibilities. I'm taking the case of propene. So when we treat it with HBr, there will be two type of possibility. One, hydrogen can attach to carbon which consists more number of hydrogen, and bromine to the carbon which consists lesser number of hydrogen. That means this one. This is the first possibility, right? And the name is 2-bromopropane. If I am taking the case of propane, right? The second possibility is hydrogen may be attached to the carbon having lesser number of hydrogen. That means it will get converted to CH2, and bromine may be attached to the CH2 group. That means carbon having more number of hydrogen. So 1-bromopropane. So we have to understand that which one is the major product, which one will be formed more prominently, more dominantly. ठीक है?